Hello, everybody. Welcome again to another edition of Badger Blitz TV. Of course, BadgerBlitz.com, your rivals.com destination for all things Wisconsin athletics, from the recruiting trail, inside Camp Randall Stadium, and of course, on the court of the Kohl Center. I'm Jake Kocorowski, senior writer for BadgerBlitz.com. And folks, it is time for our weekly Q&A. Good friend of the show, a key member of our show, and our recurring Q&As. We got Clint Cosgrove, recruiting analyst for Rivals.com. My good man, great seeing you again. I know you've been busy, man. Recruiting season never sleeps. How are you doing?
I'm tired, but I'm doing well, and it's great to see you and be back.
Exactly. And folks, you saw last week we had a great Q&A about Junior Day and the ins and outs, the intricacies, if you will, about that. Today, last week we had some great questions that we didn't get a chance to get to. We were trying to keep these around 15 minutes for y'all. Y'all keep throwing on there. If you're a subscriber at BadgerBlitz.com, in our Badgers Den, we say every couple weeks, hey, hit us with some questions, and y'all came through this week, so we're going to answer them. And the first question we're going to dive into, to make sure I got everything right on my board, we're going to go straight into it, talking some quarterbacks. And we are doing a kind of a deep dive within that. Y'all see the question up there. Clint's going to help break down just, a little bit more about Avery Johnson and what he can bring to the football field.
Yeah, so Avery has a very unique skill set because of his level of athleticism. He is, in my opinion, a better athlete than he is a pure quarterback, but he does have some arm talent. The kid could fit in at receiver. Like, he's a playmaker with the ball in his hand. Now, a while back, he was not in our Rivals 250. We had him rated the lowest of the services, I believe. His early season film, I just wasn't sold on him yet. His throwing mechanics, I thought he was throwing off his back foot a lot, short arming throws. I loved him as an athlete, but I was also worried about how skinny he was and if he'd be able to hold up and that sort of thing, especially with the way he runs. Then late season film, when we redid our rankings, I went back into that meeting and I said, you know what, guys, I think I was wrong on this one. We do have him ranked a little too low. I really liked what I saw in the second half of the season film. He was stepping into throws. He was keeping his eyes downfield while scrambling, not just scrambling to run, quick release. So he's a dynamic athlete. He's got some arm talent. He's got a chance to be very, very good. I would say the biggest thing he needs to do is put on some size and, just be consistent with his mechanics in the pocket. He's so used to throwing on the run, which he's fantastic with. Like, his mechanics when he's throwing on the run are incredible. But when you're that type of athlete, you can make plays with your feet. It's kind of hard to just sit back there in the pocket when you're like, well, what am I doing when I can go and make any play I want? And the longer I run around, the more open my receivers are going to be. So I love his upside. He's incredibly talented and gifted. And I think with development, he can be a very, very good player.
Going to our second question in our Q&A for this week. One subscriber from BadgerBlitz.com asks, do you find it odd that Wisconsin has one quarterback offer out? And do any other schools operate under this same approach? Clint, what have you seen from that?
It really depends. I mean, there's a lot of factors. There could be a lot of things we don't know. I'm not sure how big the class is going to be when we have these kind of limited high school classes right now due to the extra COVID year that's still spilling over. We've got the transfer portal. Maybe they're very happy with their quarterback room. Maybe there are other positions of need, and they're only offering guys that they really, really want. And if they don't get them, they're going to say, okay, we'll go without a quarterback this year, or we're going to target one in the portal. And there's usually going to be a grad transfer after spring ball when players find out that maybe they got beat out. And there's some good quarterbacks that find out every year in spring ball. Some freshman phenom comes in, or some freshman or sophomore, that was supposed to be a phenom is mad when they don't get the starting job and then they become a free agent. So there's multiple ways to look at it. There's also times where I remember this wasn't a quarterback, but when I interviewed Coach Drinkwitz at Missouri during our signing day show, they signed a total steal out of Louisiana. And I was like, how do you keep a kid like that a secret? And they managed to do it. They did not send Coach Drink down to Missouri because people would have known he was there. They kind of kept things on the low. And they brought him up to campus right before signing day, got his commitment, asked him not to tweet the offer, not to tweet the commitment, and then stole him on signing day. So if Wisconsin has identified a kid like that maybe they don't see other people really, going in on and want to keep him a secret, there's a chance that happens. There's a chance they're still developing or still evaluating quarterbacks. So there's multiple variables. You could be happy with your quarterback room. You might not have spot for a quarterback. Maybe you're only looking to take a certain type of quarterback. And really, nowadays with quarterbacks, the evaluation starts so early and they get offered so early that a lot of these kids are tapped out at a young age, and the senior eval has kind of gone away. Wisconsin, they might be looking for that guy who pops as a senior. There's a couple guys who are starting to blow up right now. There's a kid from Kansas, I can't remember his name, who just transferred to IMG. He only has 2 offers. So there's going to be players that pop up like that. I even look at Northwestern this year. There was a kid who was going to walk on at Notre Dame to play baseball and walk on for football as well. And Northwestern offers him at the last second, and I think he could end up being a steal of the class. He's one of the best quarterbacks that I saw this year. The interesting thing with quarterbacks is everybody's got a different opinion. You can talk to 10 different quarterback coaches and get 10 different opinions on the same exact kid. The one guy will like his throwing motion, one won't. One will like his attitude, one won't. So it's a very interesting position to only have one offered if they do plan on taking one. I find that a little bizarre, but maybe they're still out there looking for the right guy. Also, we have the spring eval period picking up. You don't want to offer too many quarterbacks until you've seen them throw. And so one thing that they will be able to do during that April 15th to May 31st period, when the coaches are on the road, they see the kids throw in person. So I'm sure that if they are looking to take a quarterback, they've got their list of guys and they're just waiting to see them throw in person before they actually put that offer out.
And so, yeah, and just to it's probably fair to, you and I talked before the show, probably just for everyone here, just to talk about the quarterback roster for Wisconsin right now. You have Graham Mertz, obviously QB1, going to be a 4th-year junior. You have Chase Wolf, who was the number 2 quarterback last year, 5th-year senior, right? Entering 2022. You have Deacon Hill as a redshirt freshman, the 2021, high 3-star quarterback out of California. And then you also have, from the class of 2022, the Gatorade AP State Player of the Year for football in Miles Burkett out of Franklin, who's also went out as a state champion. So that's the depth right now there for Wisconsin football for their quarterback room. Getting to our last question, and it's one that you've noticed from this recently, and a recently offered player, Clint, looking at 2023 running back Jeremiyah Love receiving an offer from, for that matter, Wisconsin recently. What can you tell us about this offer? I know you talked about the running backs. Gosh, I think it was last week we talked about the running backs and the offers that Wisconsin has out there. I talked to JT Smith last week as well, but it looks like they're trying to, they have this running back that appears quite intriguing.
Yeah, extremely intriguing, and we have him underrated at Rivals.com. He's a 5.63 star. I don't want to get into that, but I love the kid. He kind of burst onto the scene early in the year. CBC, the high school that he goes to, is a very talented program. They play young players, but sometimes you got to wait your turn. And they usually have, I remember years where they've had multiple Division I backs on the same team. And I remember one year they had 2 receivers sign with Ohio State from the same year. So it's a big-time program. He's a big-time player. I mean, he's like 6'1", 190, 195. He's an upright runner, kind of like that, Eddie George style. Not as big as Eddie, but he's an upright runner. The thing that I do like about him as an upright runner is he He can change direction when he needs to bend and move laterally. He can do that. He can stick his foot to the ground. He's got speed. Not only is he a big back, he can run. I think he just went like 10.76 in the 100, which is, that might even be, I don't know the date of that, when that was, but I have a feeling that was last year. So I'd imagine, unless he put on too much weight, that, he could be in the 10.5s, 10.6s. And at that size and with his just overall abilities, I think he's a big-time player. I will politic for him to be a 4-star, a probably high 4-star. I believe we've missed on that right now, and the offer list is showing. So we're going to continue to evaluate him. He got better as the season went on. He's picked up Notre Dame this week. They were asking me about him recently. He's a big-time player from a big-time program, and the crazy thing is they've got a few others that are just as I don't want to say just as good as him because they play different positions, but they've got multiple players of the same caliber on that team.
Gosh, excellent. Clint, man, we appreciate you making time for us once again. Thank you again so much. Looking forward to talking next week here on another Badger Blitz weekly Q&A.
You got it, man. Can't wait.
Folks, again, the amazing Clint Cosgrove, recruiting analyst on Rivals.com. I'm Jake Kocorowski, senior writer at BadgerBlitz.com. Y'all have a great week. We will talk to you again this week on Badger Blitz TV and Wisconsin.Rivals.com.